Hey, welcome into another Whoosh race review with me, Louie. Today, we're taking a look at the Devil's Chase 6.66 mile run in Salem, Massachusetts. Um, yeah, it's one of my favorite races to run, and it's always enjoyable. So, let's take a look. All right, so that montage was pieced together from a little clip from each mile of the race that I ran. So I thought I'd give you not the best summary of the race because I don't want to spoil it. It's through some of the most beautiful parts of Salem, Massachusetts. You can go through the Commons, the Willows, the wharf you even run by. You go on Winter Island, which is an amazing camping site they have there. It's awesome. You pass the Friendship, which is actually part of a national park, which I think is really cool. It's a recreation of an old wooden sailing ship, so it's really, really awesome. The race itself is so much fun. So much fun. It's actually accompanied by a Creepy Clown 3.33 mile race, which I think is really, really cool too. It offers an opportunity to run something slightly smaller, but also still get the experience of going out there on the morning. And to be completely honest, the morning of this race was cold. It was about 40 degrees, which isn't too cold, honestly. Could be worse. I'm assuming the turkey trot I'll do later this year will actually be worse, temperature-wise. But 40 degrees was a bit of an adjustment. I feel like we've been in the 60s or 70s. Going back to my recent trip to Japan, we were in the 90s again. So 40 was a bit of a rough go. That being said, it was awesome. There was people dressed up in costumes, everything from Will Ferrell and Semi-Pro to all the devils you could think of. They were there. Like it was really cool. There was even the Ray Gun, the Australian breakdancer. Somebody was dressed as her for the run. So it was really, really cool. I really enjoy getting to do this run and going out there and experiencing Salem, especially during October, where it can get a little bit crowded, a little bit hectic, and extremely busy. So the fact that I could go out there and I could run this in a way that let me experience some of Salem during Halloween was really cool. Apologies for running through the Commons. A lot of what they had in the Commons was porta potties or people setting up their booths because they have like a little street fair type thing kind of set up around there during this time of the year. So not the best scenery at that point. A little bit later in the day, we would have seen the rides going and stuff like that. But you kind of get the gist of what the Commons is like at this time of year. The Willows is always beautiful. It's right on the water. So tried to give a little bit of all that scenery. But overall, the race is I would say a 9 out of 10. The reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is because for a 6.66 mile race, you end up doing a weird loop for part of the race where you do, I would say, the first 5.5 miles without really backtracking. And then for the last mile-ish of the race, you end up looping around. The race starts going up a hill, which actually, to be completely honest, not the worst way to start a race. At least you get the hill out of the way. But when you're about 5.5 miles in, you run that same hill and you go up, and instead of taking a right like you did earlier, you bear to the left, and it brings you back around to a street you already ran on. That is the only downside of this race, and it's really not that big of a downside. It's more like you can see the finish line as you run past and go back to the hill that you already ran. So it's a little bit of a mental thing, which isn't the worst, hence still a 9 out of 10. That one little loop kind of kills me, but I love the race. I love doing it. I was super stoked to do it. At the finish line, they had all kinds of refreshments from pumpkin bread to apple cider, Gatorade, some granola snacks, like fruit snacks were even there. So there was a lot of variety, a lot of things to get you some of those calories back that you just burnt out there running. So I really, really, really thought they did an amazing job there. The merch that they have for it, you can clearly see I'm wearing a shirt from it. And just to show everyone the back of this year's shirt was pretty awesome. So very, very cool. And something unique that they do every year I've noticed is they'll have previous race shirts on sale, and they're only on sale for like $5, which I think is a steal. So you can pick up some extra shirts if you want. They have pint glasses, beanies, magnets, stickers, all kinds of stuff. I think a drawstring bag I saw there as well. So they have literally all kinds of stuff that you can buy and use in your everyday life to kind of show off that you did accomplish this race, which I think is really, really cool. So like I said, this race, I said a 9 out of 10 because of that one loop. Honestly, I love it, so it's probably a 10 out of 10 for me. I would do it every year as long as time allows me to. So if you're in Salem, Mass in October, I think it's usually around the third weekend of October. Definitely plan to check out this race if you're a runner. It's absolutely worth it. I don't think it could steer you wrong on that one. Just make sure you bring some cold gear in case it happens to be a colder October day, because it does start at 8 a.m. before it gets too warm. So that is my only recommendation. Other than that, absolutely love this race. Can't recommend it enough. And hopefully I'll see you out there running it next year. Thanks.